The president tonight on Twitter has tried a couple of times to point out how great the effort is, and that's received high marks from the governor. The president also along the way retweeted Bill O'Reilly tonight. If you did a word cloud of the journalism business tonight and this night next week, I have a feeling the word Katrina is going to pop, because the comparisons may become inevitable and certainly impossible to stop. What is the confidence level on the inside, beyond all the PR, that they're ahead of this, that they are where they want to be 8 days after this storm?
Well, there's certainly a feeling of catch-up at this point. Certainly, at the very least, as you pointed out at the top on the optics, certainly the suffering is also, real and very hard to get their hands around. There is a logistical issue here, but it is also about leadership. What we saw with Katrina and President Bush was not just the actual efforts on the ground, which were hobbled by any number of obstacles, but the sense of leadership, the sense that the president cares and is investing urgency in the problem. Certainly, President Trump in the last few days has begun doing that in a much more sustained way than he did at the beginning, but it's taken a real toll on the perception of his leadership that he didn't do it right away.
Shannon, there has been a palpable empathy gap, an absence of empathy, and you hear stuff, you read stuff. I'll put it this way: anyone in the White House who didn't previously know that Puerto Ricans are Americans certainly knows by tonight, and they also know this is the stuff of accountability. Mayors are graded on clearing the snow after a big snowstorm. Presidents are often graded on how they respond when nature hands us the very worst.
Yeah, and this is Thursday, and on Sunday I could see my Twitter feed and my Facebook feed being posted with images of people saying, what is going on here? Why is the president talking about NFL, and why is the country obsessed with NFL when we have this sort of humanitarian crisis unfolding in Puerto Rico? The optics have been here for days, and they just keep continuing. And to go back to this comparison of Katrina, we now have a cruise ship, a private company evacuating people off this island. And it just rings this memory of Katrina, where you had the Walmart trucks going into New Orleans when FEMA couldn't get there. Here we have, once again, a private company, Carnival Cruise, evacuating people from this island when the federal government is saying, no, we can't get there, or don't worry, we're on top of it. The optics aren't good. Going into the weekend, they're not going to get any better. The president goes there on Tuesday. I think there's a sense that hopefully the situation will be better by Tuesday, or not much, better, but the optics will be a bit better by then for his trip. But he could be really flying into a very difficult situation visually as well as, physically on the ground for so many of these people. There were very few heroes in Katrina. We're going to hear from one of them, General Russell Honore, a bit later on in the broadcast. Jonathan, so what's it like on the inside? We haven't really talked, nor do we plan to, about the war with the NFL tonight at long last. We haven't talked about the war of words with North Korea. Other topics bubbling while all this goes on.
That's right. This is a president and administration that likes to say frequently, we can talk and chew gum at the same time, right? They like to think they can handle multiple things at once. We've heard Sarah Sanders say that repeatedly. They have to do that now. You didn't even mention, of course, the ongoing Russia probe,
right,
with daily developments.
There's that.
Daily developments there. There are certainly in the last few days, publicly, there's been much more of an effort to engage here on Puerto Rico and the crisis there. The president has finally started tweeting about that more than about the NFL. The fact that it's not just about optics, of course, these are real lives, but they're playing the optics game very poorly. We have the acting director of Homeland Security today saying it's a good news story in terms of the federal government's response to this crisis. I think very few people on the ground in Puerto Rico would agree with that. The president, though, certainly he is starting to focus on this more. He's worried about the response, but behind closed doors, he's still talking about the NFL. He's telling groups of conservatives this week that he thinks that's a winning issue for him. He feels like that his base really responds to that they're angry that players are taking a knee or linking arms, in a protest of the national anthem, because he has also decided to turn this into a personal issue for him, where he feels like that protest is as much about the president as it is about the flag.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.